know who you are and turn you into them. We got to look at what we've been marching about, what we've been marching for, and look at it in relation to this case. So this happened in a black neighborhood. The woman who did the shooting most likely was a black woman, not sure, but this basically goes with everything we've been seeing. It's not a crime if a black person kill a black person. It's okay, it's excused. As soon as a white person kill a black person, front page. So now imagine if that black kid would have been coming out and the cops got there first and shot and killed them. How do you think people will be reacting? Oh, he was just trying to do this. Oh, he ain't have nothing in his hand. He ain't have no merchandise. They ain't have to kill him. It would be complete backlash. The media would just be focused on the fact that this dude broke into the house. They did at least put out the fact that he was going to college. He was in school. He just started a community college or some kind of school or something like that. So, I don't know the situation to what caused him to break into the house or what he was going to do personally, but he did. He did what he did. Was it worth his life? No. No. You have a lot of people who have been arrested for criminal activity, come out and done good with their life, done good things. So we look at the whole situation, and it's exactly what mainstream media has done to us when we have been killed by cops. So you had black people on here saying that, he shouldn't have been stealing, he got what he deserved. This is exactly what the racist, biased media says about us. That, so what? Yeah, the cop shot him, probably shouldn't have shot him and killed him, but he stole something 7 years ago, or he did time 10 years ago. So that justifies him being killed. They did it with Mike Brown, the whole Mike Brown situation. Oh, he was just stealing cigarettes. But the funny thing about the case, because I always look deeper into shit, that the dude was named Trayvon, and this happened in Florida. And it was put out there almost sort of like the George Zimmerman case, where you have a person basically, defending property or what have you. They put in the report that it was some kind of altercation. And people confuse that word altercation with fight. Now, altercation doesn't have to be physical at all. The definition of altercation basically means an argument that takes place in public. Plain and simple. That's an altercation. Something that takes place in public. It doesn't mean it could mean the fight. It could mean that. But in this case, this dude did not initiate any kind of assault on this woman. He didn't try to take the gun from her or anything like that. There obviously was a verbal confrontation, but not physical. And it led to one shot being fired and him being killed. So it couldn't have been no kind of physical confrontation to the point where this woman was fighting for her life, because she didn't say that. It wasn't in a report. So a lot of people, he had a cousin that said he's seen the whole thing. He came out, she shot him one time in the chest. So there's a lot of misconceptions about the story. The point is, one, the fact that you had so many black people condemn this young black man over some shit in the house. And that's the crazy part to me. That's the part that shows to me that a lot of people mentally have basically been manipulated into repeating exactly what they heard racist white people repeat about us. That we deserve to die because we stole something. And the thing is, you got to understand how manipulation works, because a lot of people are frustrated because you have a lot of good black people who want to be seen as good black people, as just good people trying to do the right thing. And, they want to say, we all want to say that, hey, we all don't steal. We are not thieves. We are not murderers. It's not all of us. It's people in certain situations that do bad things. They fuck it up for the rest of us. So when you feel this way and you get frustrated by this stuff and you see on the news some, dumbass black kid doing something stupid, making us look bad, people get frustrated. And they say, damn, here I am trying to make us look good and say we ain't doing this shit and we ain't about this, we ain't about that. And then here come this little dumbass go in there and break into people's house and make us look bad and all this and that. And it's a frustration. It's a frustration to where people are now siding with racism. with the programming and saying he should die because he stole something. His life is not worth material possessions. And the thing is, one, when you look at the case, I mean, it's suspect, it's weird. You can say that, I went to law school, I'm a law school grad, but I would look at the case and say, this was premeditated murder. She put herself in harm's way. She took advantage of the situation and came back to the house when she shouldn't have. And because of her actions, it caused the death of a 17-year-old young man. Regardless of what he was doing, she was in no danger. He didn't deserve to die for stealing. Plain and simple. What he did, burglary does not warrant the death penalty. Now, if she went there and he was hacking to death somebody, then yeah, if she was in a house when he came, yeah, she deserved to defend herself, justified. But not in the case where he come out with nothing, he has no weapon, let it go. Looking at the case, a lot of people don't think about the, ramifications, what could happen, because yeah, you want to say, kill him, but if the police didn't charge you with murder, because they could have charged her and it was thinking about bringing up charges, but I don't think she was charged in the end. I think she got off. But the point is, they could have charged her with murder. She could have spent the rest of her life in jail, and that's 2 lives lost. Well, she could have just let the situation go, let the cops come, arrest this dude. Maybe he might learn something from it. Who knows? Now you kill this dude. Now you got to move because he only lived a couple blocks away. It's all over the news. People might want retaliation. It's a sad thing. It's messed up. So, a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people think with their emotions. And I think anybody who has went through a situation like this probably will as well. But you have to think about, putting yourself in danger, and doing something that could cause a life. Because going there with a gun, you are saying to yourself, if I have to kill this person, he dead. Because you go in there and maybe she knew, maybe she could see on camera that he didn't have a gun, I don't know. But you go in there with a gun to do harm. You go in there with a gun, understanding that it could result in somebody being shot and killed. So already in her mind, to me, she made up the choice that his life is not worth material possession. Plain and simple. So this can only happen with mental manipulation. Things happen with our children that we can't control their actions. We can't control everything they do when they get to a certain age. My son will be 17 in November. 17, I get different texts from my son calls, Dad, I need this, I need that. What's up? I need this, You can't control what they do. You only can influence them and try to give them, teaching, and me and my son talk, he knows about all this that I teach, of course. So his decisions in life have been very, very good. He has made good decisions. He's much like me, which is cool. And when you instill certain values in your child, then that's how they're supposed to be, like you. They're supposed to basically mimic you and be like you. If you can't do so, don't get me wrong, some parents just can't do that because they gotta work. They can't be in the home. Their children are being taught more by TV and the school system than them. So it is what it is in that case. And I was in the military, so when my son started talking, I remember I was in Japan and I heard him speak for the first time over the phone. So it's weird, it's different. But when they get to a certain age, you just have to be there, especially if it's a man, especially if it's a woman. So, we have that aspect. And we have the fact that, stuff happens in the hood. We know that. But again, my point was the fact that so many black people really thought that his life wasn't worth a material item, or, a couple dollars or some stuff in their house. That people literally recommented back and said that, no, this nigga life is not worth my TV. You can be funny. There's some people that going to listen to this shit and joke, put stuff in the comment section and say, I would have killed his ass too. Not thinking. Speaking about the programming, they're repeating the Jedi mind trick. And it is what it is on that. But anybody that's conscious understands that, damn, we all made mistakes. I think everybody watching has stole something in their life. Imagine being killed for that. Think about it. So, again, we take it back to what we marching about. And we can't sit here and say that this dude deserved to be killed and then go ahead and march Black Lives Matter and say that, you know, these people was killed wrongfully by these police officers. Because guess what? Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner, all these people we've been marching about had criminal records. So if you agree with the fact that that young man deserved to die for burglary, then guess what? Alton Sterling was arrested twice, I believe, for burglary. Then you believe he deserved to have been killed back then because he broke into somebody's shit. You believe that Eric Garner should have been choked to death because Eric Garner had a criminal record. So this is the ideology that these people push forward, that we deserve to die because we did something, we had a criminal past. So when you sit there and you put out there in public that you agree that this black kid deserved to die because he committed a crime, then you are condemning all these people we done marched for, because most of them had criminal records. So a lot of the comments that I was reading, I've seen before, but I've only seen them from racist white people. I've never seen black people. It's the first time I've ever seen black people make those kinds of comments, not realizing what they're saying. And, you know, it's crazy. And a lot of people, you know, started to catch on and started to rethink about what was said. And a lot of comments was changed. A lot of people started to agree later on with the comments. And, you know, the comments I left, because I said basically what I'm saying to you here in the comment section. Then all the thumbs up start coming. People start thinking like, damn, you're right. Because you are basically doing exactly what the news media is doing. You are basically condemning all the people we have marched for and said didn't deserve to die. Because again, if you believe that this kid deserved to be killed for material possession, then you believe that we are worthless. We're worthless. And it goes back to that mental manipulation I talked about earlier, and understanding history and what has taken place. Because you have a lot of racist people, you have a lot of black people as well who I had to argue with, who hate themselves. A lot of self-hating black people out there, trust me. They had the argument that, you know, y'all just steal. Y'all just kill. Y'all kill each other. What about the statistics that I follow that show that y'all doing this and that? And I tell people, statistics can be manipulated. Stats can lie. Who is putting out the stats? Why would a person be concerned about how many black people kill black people? Don't white people kill white people? Asians kill Asians? You go to Russia, China, who you think they're killing? Persians? Of course not. They're killing the people who they are surrounded by, just like white people do. But racist people and people who are programmed want to ignore the fact that everybody kills each other. White people kill white people, Asians kill Asians, what have you, Hispanics. But they want to focus on black people. Why? Because the programming has been pushed to that. When you add in hip hop, where it's completely talking about killing niggas, bombarding, manipulating the minds of the masses of people with black on black crime, it sticks with people. When the news media is constantly putting out that same narrative, it sticks with people because everybody's mindset goes back to black people. And what is the words people say? Oh, they're dangerous. They kill each other. They sell drugs. The same stuff that is promoted in our music. The same image that is being put out there about black people. Programmed into the minds of the masses of people. And we help push it. And then we complain about it later on. This is what we're seeing. So when people come up with this argument and say all this stuff, well, what are you saying exactly? You saying we deserve to die because, you know, 2 black people stole something 3 years ago? What are you talking about? What about the rest of the black people who have clean records? So they speak in general. What about all the millions of black people who never did anything, who fight and work hard? Who work hard, fighting for their families, fighting for success. They deserve to die. It's the same ideology with slavery. Oh, y'all deserve slavery because y'all enslaved yourselves. What? The millions of, people that was in slavery deserve to be enslaved because the actions of a few? They don't think about that. That's programming. Only a programmed mind can say something so stupid. So heartless. But this is where the conversation always goes. It always goes back to black on black crime, to the statistics, to what people have been programmed to believe about African Americans. And then I say to people, what is your point? Are you trying to say that this is a genetic thing? That black people just are born violent, murderers, drug dealers, and killers? What are you talking about? Are you applying this to all black people? And they try to shy away from that answer because it just points to them being racist or biased. But you got to go back, as I always say. Go back, 1920s, right after slavery. Go back to the 20s, 30s, 40s, up to the 60s or what have you, and look at the state of black people. I always talk about Black Wall Street. I talk about the fact that black people were flourishing, living well, doing good. Was no hip hop. Was no crack epidemic, yet we still face racism. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You can't say that you're racist or racism exists because people are just being critical and basically expressing what they see from the black community when we have been experiencing all this for decades. It's not like this shit is new when people just started being racist and biased, against black people because we started seeing black people stealing and drug dealing and hip hop and all that stuff. What about the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s? When none of this shit was going on, and we still were seeing the same stuff. You add that to the fact that, as I put up in the Elizabeth Warren video, where her speaking on the fact that in the 1980s, black people were closing the wealth gap with white America at a fast pace. Closing the wealth gap. And then all of a sudden, we get the crack epidemic, we get hip hop music, we get the TV show Cops, we get private prisons. All in the 80s and 90s. Think about that. You think that's a coincidence? We get all this stuff, these new laws passed, the war on drugs, the whole disparity between crack and cocaine, locking black people up for longer terms than white people with 5 times the amount of drugs than crack cocaine. It's crazy. So we had laws, we had things changed, things put in our way to hinder us from growing. All of this is the result of what all these people have negative feelings about as far as the black on black crime, the drugs, and everything else. All this stuff happened as a result of this system putting this stuff in place in front of African American people to hinder us from growing economically. And it's clear. It's clear as day that these things are what caused the downfall of the black community. These things we still suffer from to this day. These are the reasons why we see the crime, why we see the poverty in the black community. Not to mention the fact that the same people who wanted Jim Crow, some of them are still alive. They push the ideology, and a lot of these people are in positions of power. They have raised their children with the same kind of ideology. And the fact that you have the media, who has the biggest influence of everybody, pushing this same negative narrative, stereotype about black people, of course, you're going to have people not like black people. If I was white and if I just accepted all the news that I see, about black people, I would probably be racist too. I probably wouldn't like them either. If I was real with myself as a white person and listening to hip hop, I would say these people are fucking crazy. This is what's wrong with the black community. They talking about kill them, shoot them up, bang, bang. You can't say this is just something I'm expressing, because I see this in the hood. No, you are creating it. Your music is creating that same reality, and a lot of people don't understand that, as I talked about before. And the fact that, you say this to a crowd of white people, what do you think they taking in? Because those are the majority of people that go to these hip-hop concerts. Look in the front rows. You see majority white people all the time. Unless that concert is somewhere in the hood. You don't see that many white people. But you mostly see white people there. And they're taking all this stuff in. And if I'm real with myself as a white person, I'm saying, man, these people ain't shit. Talking about killing each other and shit. Yeah, I can act like I'm enjoying myself and I delight in the music or what have you, but it's really ammunition that I can use down the road. If I'm having an argument with a black person, because it's the same fucking argument. Again, everybody say the same thing over and over and over again. And when I say to them what I just said, well, what about, before the 70s, when we were still experiencing the same stuff, when there was no crack or hip hop, what about then? We still was, experiencing racism. And then a lot of people want to say, well, yeah, history shows, statistics show, over the last 13 years, blah, 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 black people killed this many, y'all killed 90%. What? You want to compare body counts? Are you kidding me? Y'all want to pull out body counts from 10, 20 years ago about black people, but we can't go back to the genocide of African people, of black people in this country. Just put out a video on, this subject about how we are the original indigenous people. So you want to talk about this, but you don't want to go back to that and say, well, shit, our condition was caused by you. So if anybody's to blame, it's your ancestors. It's this government system. So what are you talking about? But we just tripping when we talk about that shit. Get over it. But we can look back and point to the mental manipulation, and it's relevant in so many different things. And, when you're conscious, you just learn to accept it. You still do what you do, but you learn to accept it. I get attacked a lot. I deal with a lot of stupid shit. A lot of stuff, I engage in to get feedback, because I'm not just going to be putting out these videos and not respond to people. Excuse me, which is why I respond. A lot of people be shocked when I respond to emails and to comments. People be shocked. But yeah, I'm not just going to ignore the shit. If I can respond and I see it, I have time, I'm going to respond, because I want the feedback, especially the negative feedback, because I want to know what you're thinking. I want to compare with my research and see, as you're saying the same stuff, do you have any merit in what you're trying to voice? Is it something I can say to maybe persuade you and get you to understand a little bit more? If I can get one person that I'm arguing with to turn around and say, damn, you're right, this shit is worth it. And it has happened to me hundreds of times, which is why I do what I do. But I'm used to it. I'm used to getting the feedback. People who are upset with me about promoting my DVDs. Like, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to promote my content. I'm not supposed to talk about and promote it. I'm not supposed to talk about money. Talking about problems I'm having with the situation that goes against, some stupid shit that they think, supposed to be. But I'm not supposed to do that. And it's crazy. But just for people who want to know, all the money that I make from my DVDs, from any sales, goes towards my project, towards getting this whole social media site done, as well as other things that I'm trying to do. This is something that I think is going to be really great. As I said, I can't really go deeply into the whole situation. I'm not expecting a bunch of donations. I'm putting up my own money, and all the money that goes from me selling DVDs and downloads goes into these projects, plain and simple, because I'm not just a talker, I'm a doer. It's a lot that I do that I don't brag about, that people don't know, plain and simple. So it is what it is. I'm doing something that could cause my death down the line. But, if that's so, then I made my mark. My damage has been done already. We can't say that Dr. King should have never did what he did, Malcolm X should have never did what he did, because it resulted in their deaths. They made their mark. And people took that and marched forward. Same thing with Khalid Muhammad. Same thing with so many of our slain leaders, people who have, put up the fight and, was defeated. They still made their mark. They still sparked the minds of people. Tupac said that before too, that I might not be the person or the leader or what have you, but he's going to spark the brain of somebody who's going to probably do something. And so many of our leaders have sparked our brains and got us to just act, to do something. A lot of people always send me messages and say, you inspire me to do this, to want to be better, to promote, to just put out there this information, inspire, and they do so. And this is what it's about. I'm not scared of, the powers that be or what could possibly happen. I want to make this mark, because guess what? This is exactly what they have done for hundreds of years. We've seen it. We've taken this shit back to BCE. These people, we see the conquest. They have spent their entire lives to the purpose of conquesting us, conquering us, destroying our history, destroying what we stand for. Gone. Their entire life dedicated to that purpose. And you have black people that don't want to spend $15 because they think a nigga just trying to scam them off some money. This is the mindset that I'm talking about. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. You have this ideology that even the people that's trying to do good, we try to find some flaw in, and in a lot of cases it exists. It exists. But I'm one of those people who understand. Like when I talked about, Dr. King and what he was manipulated, plain and simple. And a lot of people, you have to know what is real and what is not, and who is doing what and for what purpose. And in every single case, guess what? The information speaks for itself. So all you got to do is follow the information. If it's right, it's right. Plain and simple. And that's the thing. But I don't want to get too much into that. But a lot of people understand what I'm trying to do. A lot of people believe in what's going on. But the thing is, the mental manipulation of African American people has been their most successful weapon. And again, it is self-inflicted. It is something that we are doing to ourselves. Even though we can look at them and point the finger and say, a white man, a white man, a white man, this is something you have to accept. And if you don't consciously understand that you're accepting something, that you're missing the wave and the whole, you repeating exactly what that person just said, then you're going to get caught. The mind trick is going to be played, and you're going to be acting out and following exactly what you were programmed to follow. And regardless of what people say about anybody that's put out information, that has put out information, that has put out books, videos, or what have you, people deserve the respect for doing it. That's all I'm saying. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me sometimes, the shit that people go into and the thinking of a person. And I'm like, man, you're a little bit too damaged for me to try to repair that, manipulation in your brain. I'm just going, say what I can say, and hopefully, it click, a year from now, you get it down the line. But some people, you just gotta, they just want to argue. And this is why I tell you guys, don't engage with these people. Just keep it moving, because there's somebody who probably needs your attention. If you have the knowledge to speak on certain things, somebody who probably needs your attention on something else. So spend that time, talking to them. But, this mental manipulation on black people is crazy. And it's something that I want to bring to the attention of you guys so you can be aware when you see it, because of what we've been seeing. It's causing a lot of black people to hate themselves and to hate the black community. I don't want nobody to hate the people in the black community. Hate the situation. Don't hate the people, because the people are the victims. And a lot of people in the black community are, manipulated, and they don't understand what's going on. Again, this is not to make an excuse for people, because you have to understand what's right and what's wrong. And if you go by that, then there's no way you should be agreeing with what's going on in the black community, plain and simple. We got to stop playing the victim. And that's something I hear a lot. And it's something that I agree with. As long as we keep having that whole mindset, well, I'm not successful because of this. Well, the white man did this, so I can't do that. As long as we keep having that kind of perception and keep saying to ourselves that, I'm basically going to use the excuse of white supremacy to not go hard at my goals, you're not going to get nowhere. You can't keep using that excuse, because there's too much information out here now. There's too many people talking about what's going on, and you know better. Stop using it. Stop having that in you that you can't succeed because of white supremacy. You need to recognize and realize what it is and go against it. Do what's right. Do what you are supposed to do. If you do, then you can't go wrong. But we can't condemn the people who don't do what they're supposed to do either. We can't condemn them to the point where we say they fucking deserve to die. That's what I mean by that. Not to that point. Not to they deserve to lose their life because they have been mentally manipulated by a system that manipulated you. You just was lucky enough to come out of it. You just realized the truth. Not everybody is lucky. So you got to be patient and understanding that there's a mental manipulation going on against black people and everybody for that matter, that you need to be a little bit patient with and understand what is taking place. So again, when I say you have people who are mentally manipulated and conscious people, the majority are clearly mentally manipulated. Not so many of us conscious people, real conscious people out there who can see through it, who can see through the bullshit, who can see through everything. If you're understanding right now, It's not the fact that the powers that be is behind everything we're seeing that's going on, then you're delusional. If you believe that this government system is somehow these good people who are just trying to go through the system and fix things and do right by the people, you're delusional. You have been brainwashed. You need to understand the truth of what these people are, what they represent. And that is the complete destruction of African people, period. I know it sounds spooky, but it's the truth. If we don't act accordingly, this is what's going to happen to us.